So while we're waiting for Stuart, I will present this dream. Oh, Pia is coming in. That's great. Just wait for her to enter. Hi, Pia. Hun kan ikke høre mig endnu. She can't hear me yet. Okay, hi, Pia. Velkommen. We're just about to start. We're waiting for Stuart. He's a little late today, but we're going to start. And I have received a dream from Brigitte that's also present here today. And sorry? Sorry? Oh. Pia, can you mute your audio, please? We will open them again later when I think I would like to open a room for discussion and reflection and stuff afterwards. But this dream goes, I find myself in a cold room with concrete walls and a concrete floor. It feels like a basement. There are two large, thin mattresses on the floor with a space between them. There are a group of people in the room, and we are instructed to sit in rows on the mattresses. My son is sitting on one mattress, my daughter and I are sitting on the other. There's a small gap between the mattresses where the controllers walk to ensure that we sit quietly and in a row. In rows, she writes. We are supposed to remain silent. The atmosphere feels like that of World War II, reminiscent of concentration camp. Suddenly, one of the controllers utters a single word. Immediately, everyone sitting on my son's mattress collapses, their heads falling forward as if they've been injected with something lethal. I lower my head to my son and inhale his scent as I quietly tell him that I love him, while tears silently stream down my face. I know he's dead. I wake up crying. Yeah, this is really like a strong dream. I think all of us have had something like that, have experienced something like that, where you wake up and it feels like it feels so alive and real. So there's some themes and some symbols and some great things happening in this dream. So if we just remember that how we work with dreams, we work them two ways. Actually, we work them inward towards the personality, and we also amplify them out into the world, and to myths and fairy tales and to culture, and we direct them like both ways. So I think the dream holds profound symbolism, touching on themes of shadow and trauma and loss and transformation. So if we take a look, for instance, at the cold room that is described, cold room with concrete walls and concrete floor, it feels like a basement. And typically, when we talk about basements and rooms like that, we talk about the unconscious. When we go underground, we go downwards, like Persephone was abducted by Hades to the underworld, and so that's immediately my thoughts here. That we are being brought into an unconscious, like a trauma or something that this happening there. And mm, what also strikes me is the mattresses on the floor. It's like in rows, they are divided in two. They are divided two white mattresses where the dreamer and her daughter sits on the one and her son sits on the other. And I was thinking of a split. I was thinking of a split of like a split in the psyche, and had association to early traumas, uh, um, an abandoning of a child or something like that. I think the mattresses and separation, like an inner division, is significant somehow. And maybe Regitze, if you would like to, you can open your microphone because it's your dream, and I would like to have it as a dialogue also, actually. So it's not just me sitting here um, talking to you. I would like it to be a dialogue. I really like that.
Hmm.
So what are your thoughts about what I'm saying? We get into a field in the psyche, a room in the psyche where it's like, ooh, it gives us the chills.
Yeah, it feels right when you say it. Something is, yeah, ja.
I,
Jeg
I,
skal, jeg skal lige finde de engelske ord, ikke? Så jeg
yeah, but
prøver
it's
lige.
okay. I'll just talk while you're finding them. I'll just try to uh, just let my thoughts like flow. But because I was also thinking about the controllers that is walking in between
Hmm.
mattresses. It's like the tyranny of the complex somehow, the tyranny of the shadow, you know. And
Hmm.
I was reminded, I was having this association to a parent, like parent tyrant, like a tyrant, a controlling parent.
Hmm. Yeah, my mom.
Your mom.
Hmm.
So there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's suppressing spontaneity. Is that like the free flow, the natural movement would be that you would go to the other mattress and pick up your son, or you would have some contact, but it's blocking the contact somehow, these control.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I can't help thinking. All the time my mind goes to this early childhood, early, like the birth trauma.
Hmm.
Somehow, like a birth trauma where the child experienced this early split and psychologically dies.
Yeah.
There he is, the dear Stuart. Yeah, shall we let him in? We will.
Hey, folks, can you hear me?
Hey, Stuart.
Yeah,
Nice to see you.
you working?
We
Yeah,
started we started without you, and I had
sure.
loads of talking space all by myself. I was really enjoying it.
Oh, you must. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a phrase over here I could use, but I can't use it because not. It's it.
Don't use it. So,
Yeah.
we just started on this very, very interesting dream of Regitze's, and I think I will read it out again, so that you can join us.
Okay.
And the dream goes, I find myself in a cold room with concrete walls and concrete floor. It feels like a basement. There are two large, thin mattresses on the floor with a space between them. We are a group of people in the room, and we are instructed to sit in rows on the mattresses. My son is sitting on one mattress, my daughter and I are sitting on the other. There's a small gap between the mattresses where the controllers walk to ensure that we sit quietly and in rows. We are supposed to remain silent. The atmosphere feels like that of World War II, reminiscent of a concentration camp. Suddenly, one of the controllers utters a single word. Immediately, everyone sitting on my son's mattress collapses, their head falling forward. Immediately, everyone sitting on my son's mattress, immediately, their head falling forward as if they were being injected with something lethal. I lower my head to my son and inhale his scent as I quietly tell him that I love him, while tears silently stream down my face. I know he's dead. I wake up crying.
Wow.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So, where'd you begin? You've had.
Oh, we began in the basement, like
Yeah.
the unconscious, like a room that we're going into this concrete basement
Yeah. Yeah.
room to the unconscious. So, and we spoke about like a like a shadow conflict or early trauma conflict. We also spoke about and the split. The mattresses were split, and the control was
Mhm.
kind of keeping them apart.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah,
The way I generally approach a dream like that, when somebody presents me with a dream, just like certainly if it's sort of off the cuff, as it were, I always look at the very, very beginning of the dream. I always think that the description will be in the first opening sentence or two. What is the dream about?
yes,
And I think you'll find out really in broad strokes what the dream is about. So in this one, I find myself in a cold room, concrete walls.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Okay, so anything basement, going down into the basement, you're going into the unconscious. So this dream is about something entering, the unconscious, the person's unconscious.
yes,
So straight away, it's not about the outside, it's about the inside.
yeah,
Everything in the dream is going to be process orientated rather than life
yes,
orientated because it's about the unconscious. So I don't know if that's of any help, but that's the way I do it. Shorthand, look at the first sentence or two, and then I always find the dream begins to tell itself.
yes,
As I hear the dream spoken out, or as I sort of see it, the dream unfolds as the story unfolds. So the dream is facilitating its own unfoldment.
yeah,
Each section in the dream leads to the next section in the dream. Do you see? So you could try and take in the whole dream, or probably more simply, find out what the dream is about, and then just look at it paragraph by paragraph.
yes, exactly.
And you can go back over it and do it again and do it again, do it a different way. But in doing it, in approaching it that way, it doesn't matter how long or how complicated it is. It's always going to be manageable
Yes,
because all you're really looking at is the movement within the dream. So
Yeah,
This one,
I think it really talks into what Marie-Louise von Franz says about, that the dream are often built up like classical dramas with, the theme presented in the start. What is this about? And then building up like the tensions and, all the scenes and all the drama and stuff. And the Lucy's the like, um, I don't know what you call that, in the beginning. It's pointing at something in the beginning, or in the end. It's pointing at something. I don't know how to translate Lucy's, but it's like, um, not a solution, but
yeah, okay,
it points at something. How how to approach this, or what can we do
yeah.
about this, or like resources, putting in there
Yeah.
in to the theme presented in the beginning. That I think that's to me that's also a very valuable way of looking at it.
See, it paints a picture as well, just when you hear it or read it. So I always try and put myself into the first person when I hear it. Oh, okay, what's this feel like? Where am I? Okay, these two mattresses.
Yeah.
Like what do they represent? Why? Like what's a mattress? Well, it's comfortable. It's somewhere you can rest or sleep. And yet there's two large thin mattresses on the floor with a space between them. So this dynamic, these two mattresses, how they relate to each other, is in the unconscious.
Yes.
Everything is submerged in the unconscious because it's all happening down in the basement.
Mm.
So if shadow is always going to be a power dynamic. So then you have the controllers, later on popping up in the dream. So there's the power dynamic.
Mm.
So down in this place we have these controllers organizing how people sit in rows on the mattress. So what does that mean for the person? Because you're talking about the person's unconscious, the person's power dynamic. So they are being organized in rows. They are being made sit quietly
Mm.
by this unconscious power dynamic, this shadow dynamic. So in a way, it's like eating an elephant. You try and nibble around the edges.
Yeah.
Eventually, you sort of get a bite of the elephant itself, like
Yeah.
but you try and swallow the elephant, you won't. It's very hard to when you get a complicated dream or an involved dream, very hard to unwrap it in just one go, like. But you can nibble in around it. So okay, so Marcello.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's the son. I've left the name out, but it's okay now because Regitze is here, and she said,
yeah.
okay, yeah, that's my dream, and it can get out in the open. So Marcelo is the son.
Okay, so Marcello the son, sitting on one of the mattresses, uh, while Aura the daughter and I are sitting on the other. So there's an interesting split between male and female,
There is.
masculine and
Yeah.
feminine.
Yes.
There's a small gap between the two mattresses. So whenever I see a gap, I always think broken contact and difficult communication.
Yes.
If there's a gap going to be seen somewhere, well, they're not together. So they're being held apart by these controllers. The control in the unconscious is stopping communication between the masculine and the feminine sides.
Yes.
And is this okay to am I going back over stuff that you've already done? You probably am.
No, no, we didn't. I was
Yeah.
I was thinking I was having an association here, Stuart, about the controllers as mothers animus. I don't know if that has
Yeah,
anything,
yeah, well,
but
absolutely.
yeah,
See,
because
power is always going to be animus. Power.
yeah,
It's going to be masculine. It's logos. It's always about division and separation and organization. And some of it can be positive, but power is where love is lacking, a will to power exists.
yes,
So it's the absence of its opposite,
yeah,
eros.
yeah,
So where does power happen in the family? Well, it happens in mother's animus.
Yeah.
It happens in father's rage.
Yeah.
But the unconsciousness of mother's animus is perhaps more wounding than
Mm.
the external rage of the father. I'm saying that with tongue in cheek now, but the reason I say that is because there's no boundary between mother's animus and and the person's unconscious. You,
Yeah.
you
Exactly.
can if somebody's dancing and shouting in the corner, you can handle that. The child will be frightened and hide, or there's a trauma in that. But the presence of this power dynamic within the psyche of the family, there's no getting away from it. It's there all the time, 24/7.
Mm.
Do you see? The rage will, the person's aggressive rage will erupt in a fit of temper, and then it'll go back inside until the next time they're triggered, and it'll come out again, and then it goes back inside. But where it goes back inside to, this negatively toned animus is is raging all the time.
Mm.
So
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 it's I need to understand this right. It's when so mother will say, "Oh, this is okay. I it's okay. I can do this," and then her unconscious and what the child will feel is like, "God, I hate this." So it will be like double message somehow. Is
exactly.
yeah, yeah,
And then mother might be smiley and huggy and blowing kisses while her animus is spitting fire.
yeah. Exactly, exactly.
So you're getting a double, the child in the house is getting a double
Yeah,
signal.
yeah,
And which do they go with? What do they believe? They learn to not trust.
yeah,
Do you see? So the whole thing is traumatic.
yeah.
But when you see this type of symbol occurring in a dream, controllers, I mean, it's really obvious in the name. It's
Yeah.
control, the controllers. And because of the way I'm in a cold room and it feels like a basement, it absolutely shadow,
Mm.
absolutely power dynamic within the shadow, and it's preventing a healthy communication within the person because it's not Marcelo on the outside or Aura on the outside. They represent aspects of the person on the inside. This dream is about the inside first and foremost.
Mm.
Do you see? That's the way I would see it anyway.
Yeah.
Now, the fact that there's a small gap between the mattresses, reason to be cheerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
You,
Exactly.
you know what I mean? It's only a small gap.
Yeah.
So the
And
dream.
also Stuart in the end, where the dreamer is bending over, and it's like sensing, and this his sense his and he she all the love that she carries inside of her, she pours on him. And so it's like I see that as you know like the self somehow um reaches out here, and there's there's a emerging contact. Something died. It is almost like an alchemical recipe, isn't it? something
Hmm.
something died here, and we're grieving that and all that, but the love from the mother is the bridge, the love
Yeah, 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 yeah.
bridge between the mattresses.
So when you see something dying in the dream, it doesn't necessarily mean something is dead in the world. It's not a premonition, or it's not the end of the it's a dream death,
Yeah.
because we are not in the dream. The dream ego is in the dream. We're the person having the dream. We're asleep in bed. The dream is happening to the dream ego. This is an internal process that's happening within the psyche of the dreamer. So when you see an aspect in the dream, oh, I know he's dead, that's not final.
Mm.
You could be dead in one dream and he could be coming back to life in the next. It just shows that life is being withdrawn from him. This aspect has been starved of life. Do you see? It's not an actual physical death, but it's showing within the psyche of the person. This this part of the person is dying because of whatever situation is going on. So that's jumping to the end of it. S let's see.
Stuart, can I ask something here? Because I had an association again. I was thinking if Marcelo somehow can represent the dreamer's small animals, emergent animals, because he's not, he's four
Yeah,
years
yeah.
5 years old or so, and he's not really getting, he's all the time he's being pulled back and he's dying. He's like,
But when you look at who he is, he's a significant person.
he is, yeah,
Do you know what I mean? The dream has selected him to carry this image. So
yeah.
he is the preferred symbol for this young animus. It represents, such an object of love. Your own child. It's such a wonderful image to pop up in a dream, to dream of your own children. And yet here in the dream, it's showing that this aspect is being hammered.
Hmm.
Now, now the okay, the young animus, what is that? The young animus, when the woman is born into a family, she's born into the environment of mother's animus. Mother's animus is already there. Do you see? So there's no space really for the daughter to develop her own animus. The daughter's animus, the immature animus, is developing alongside the mature animus that's already sort of set in mother's head. Can Yeah, okay. Do you see? So there's a war. There's a conflict has to happen within the daughter in order to reclaim her own identity from mother. Like if we call animus mind, we swap the word, for animus, just put mind in there. The daughter has to find her own mind within the family structure. If we swap the word mind for identity, the daughter has to find her own identity within the family structure. Now, the family structure, in the case of a negative animus, is being held. The family is an orbiter and mother's needs. The family is organized around the needs of the negative animus. So everything that tries to grow fresh is going to be hammered by mother's animus. So the daughter is going to be kept, she's going to be kidnapped. This is like the myth of Persephone and Hades.
Mm.
Hades would represent the mother's negative animus.
Yeah.
You see, and she's kidnapped and pulled into the underworld by Hades. So this is what happens in families. And then as the young woman starts to develop her own sense of self, she is finding her own selfhood, which is feminine. So she's finding herself through eros. As she goes off and meets friends and makes friends at school and all this sort of natural stuff, there's a glimmer all the time. There's fresh growth happening, fresh growth, a new self, a new reflection of self by new friends. Oh, I did well in that test. Positive self-image, and it's happening all the time. Before Mother's Animus has a chance to kill it off, it's happening all the time. So this fresh identity is all the time drawing fresh animus to it. like the iron filings being drawn to a magnet, the animus responds to eros. The animus is searching for eros. So the eros of the young woman developing attracts animus to it, attracts mind to it. Just as a cold plate attracts the water vapor. Do you know what I mean? And then the steam, you see the steam condensing on the cold plate. In the same way, the eros attracts animus to it, and animus condenses out, animus appears, fresh animus. So it's like being born again, being born again, being born again. Each time I'm born with a new animus, and then mother's animus kills it.
Mm.
Does that make any sense the way I'm trying to explain it there? Guys, do you hear that? Or can you, do you have any questions on? See, the thing that animus doesn't have, masculinity lacks eros
Mm.
because it's logos. So it's the opposite to eros. So animus comes out, masculinity is there from the beginning, and it's searching for eros. It's searching to have a relationship. But the way it goes about the relationship is in its early stages is like a beast. It wants to, grab you by the hair, drag you off into the cave. That's the level it's at until it gets educated into how to treat, the feminine. So in this situation, the animus, the controlling animus, is quite barbaric,
Mm.
and it's preventing the growth from happening within the person. The person has a okay, why is the animus so negative? Because it's probably been inherited from the family dynamic. Why is it showing up like this in the unconscious, in the basement, all that sort of stuff? Because it happens within the unconscious. The dynamic manifests within the unconscious. Animus needs complexes. Animus needs unconsciousness for to come into the world over the woman. I'll say that differently. Animus, in order for the animus to affect the woman's life on the outside, in order for the animus to come through the woman and enter into the world, it requires the woman to be unconscious.
Mm.
Because if the woman was conscious, she wouldn't allow that to happen. If the woman was self-aware, conscious, she wouldn't allow those sort of power dynamics to enter the world through her. She'd see it. She'd see it and say, no, I'm not going to do that. Here's a knife, stab that person. No, I'm not going to stab the person. Do you see? So she wouldn't treat herself like that, or she wouldn't treat the world like that. So the woman has to be in the grip of her own complexes. She has to be unconscious in order for the animus to get into that extent. So this is why shadow work comes first and the counter gender work comes second. Now, they happen at the same time. The truth is you do both at the same time. But that's so the symbols of shadow in this dream would be the cold room, the concrete walls, the concrete floor, feels like a basement, thin mattresses, directly on the floor. It all feels a bit basic and sparse. Okay, that whole environment is shadow.
Mm.
Do you see? And then the animus comes in as this controllers. It's personified. It's this group of individuals who have the power. I don't know. Is that okay, Hella?
Yes, I just was thinking, I learned or I read or something, I don't remember where I have it from, but I had this association to when, when there's a group of people, there's a group of animuses or a group of controllers here, it is closer to the to the archetypal level. So we have to
Yeah,
do with like a um, transgenerational stuff, probably.
Yeah,
So
it
that
could
was
be.
just my thought.
It would start off. It could be like a herd of buffalo in a
Yeah,
field or dinosaurs. There's the animus in its
I,
early stage.
I,
Power.
I, I also was thinking about, you know, how to translate this into the person's life, and the way I felt it was kind of, you know, I would like to do something. The era says I would love to do that, and before it has happened, it's been broken, it's been hammered, it's been controlled away, it's been controlled down. So I know this. I know, like, it's you're working with kind of boundary settings and stuff like that. So what do you say, Stuart, if we kind of, I was
You could do
thinking
it through a
about bringing
psychodrama.
in some active imagination on the dream.
You could do it that way, or you could act out. What I would do is easier than active imagination,
Yeah, we need
because
a
active
quick.
imagination is quite complex in itself. I would make it. This is just me now. I would make it very, very simple if I could, and I would literally take one sentence and I would do a psychodrama around it, or two sentences, and I would open up the dream that way. So, uh, for example, suddenly one of the controllers utters a single word.
Yeah,
Okay, so if you were the controller, and
yeah.
I want you to control the room with
I
a single word.
stop.
Okay, now freeze that attitude and feel it. Feel feel the, see your eyes, see the whole action in you, see the pointed finger, feel the
Frozen.
power of that.
Yeah, it's absolutely, it's frozen, and it's
Yeah,
not, when it gets alive again, it's not stopping until you have stopped. If I have to kill you, I'll kill you.
yeah,
But
yeah. The vitriol, the power in that. Do you see now? Straight away, you're getting a sense of this animus
yes,
and what it contains.
yeah,
Immediately, everybody sitting on the mattress collapses, the heads falling forwards as if they've been injected with something lethal. Okay, so let's do it again, the psychodrama again. This time, I'm going to do the same thing. I want you to utter a single word, but in uttering this word, I want it to kill everybody. Anybody who hears it is going to be like a lethal injection. So just see how you'd have to organize yourself if that was what was going to happen. Look at the power you'd have to pull into it.
so we're going to do it again.
Yeah, if we were to do this again, now just take it slowly and organize yourself towards this. The intention is, as in the dream, you're going to control everybody in the dream, and it's going to have the effect of making them all fall over.
Yeah, I yeah, yeah.
What
It's
would you have to be to do that?
I'll have to inflate. I have to be inflated. I have to,
Yeah,
by
you'd have to be
controlling,
massive.
I grow. Oh, I grow
Yeah,
big, and
y-
I love the power and all that. And you,
yeah.
I'll just kill you all. It doesn't matter
But
how.
to have the power to kill everybody in the dream, it's showing that this is not normal animus.
Yes.
This is angry animus, very angry animus.
I wonder if it's devil.
Well, if you go all the way down to dark, 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 dark,
Yes.
you have the power without any light in it.
Yeah. Okay. And
Do
the
you
reason
know,
I'm
I won't use
asking,
the word devil
is
because it's sort of a religious thing. But
no, yeah, but the reason I'm asking is because Regitze knows that. Regitze, if you want, you can show us your your picture, or just, you've been working that way. You see it?
I'm just pulling the screen back here to so I can have a better view.
You need to turn some light. Oh yeah, there it is. Look.
Oh, he looks dark. Yeah, yeah, I got that.
He's so dark. He's so dark. Look, 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 look.
Yeah, and the teeth. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
It is perfect,
He,
isn't it?
he even looks a little bit too happy.
He
Do,
does.
you know,
He does. He does. He
he
could
seems
be
a little
more
bit too
devilish.
joyful.
Yeah,
For
yeah,
the
yeah.
character in the dream, the devil from the shadow. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But you see, the end of the dream, there's an interesting bit at the end of this dream, which is after everybody falls over, following the use of this power, at the blunt end of this power dynamic. I lower my head to Marcello and inhale his scent as I quietly tell him that I love him, and tears silently stream down my face. I know he is dead. So this display of power gives rise to compassion,
Yeah.
eros. Suddenly, for the first time in the dream, eros is present in the dream.
Mm.
So through silently crying, this action of feeling sorrow for the loss is the way back. This is the redemption, if you like, within the dream.
Mm.
Through this appearance of death, through the awareness of what this dynamic is doing, by becoming aware of what this is and what the dream is telling me about myself and what I've gathered up from my past family dynamic stuff and how it affects me, through knowing all of that and seeing it and through grieving it, what I'm doing is I'm grieving the loss of myself. I'm not grieving my son, I'm grieving that part of myself. I'm grieving how I died many times in this family. Do you see? I'm grieving all of the losses that I've ever experienced, the cruelty at the hands of others. And that is the redemptive path. There's the path back from this certain annihilation. I know he is dead. Well, he's dead in this dream, but he could be very much alive in the next dream. Because the dream symbol, him in the dream is only a symbol of what it actually is in your psyche.
Mm.
Do you see, the dream is showing you it dying in this dream. So it's showing the action of the psychodynamics in this dream, but in the next dream, things will have moved on. So the dream actually has a very positive outcome
Mm.
because there's an awareness of what it's doing to me, and also I feel remorse. My heart opens,
Mm.
and that's the end of the dream. Then, even though it's a sad ending, you know, but the end of the dream is actually a positive ending in a strange way.
Do you want to
Cricket,
say
do you see that? What I'm saying there, Jay? Can you see that?
Do you want to say a couple of words, Regitze? You can say it in Danish and I can translate you if you want.
Mm, I think it's very interesting, but um, I don't. I think I don't get the ending the way you say it, Stuart. Can you tell more
Hey,
about it? I know something is dead, and that is a good thing. Something is dead, but I'm unsecure about what is it. What
yeah,
is it?
if
There
if
is dead.
if you follow the dream paragraph by paragraph, first
Mm,
paragraph is setting the scene, telling you this dream is about the unconscious and dynamics within the unconscious. Then the second paragraph where it introduces the characters, it's now starting to flesh out the bones of the dream. It's telling you the story. Okay, so we have all these different dynamics. We'll call one Marcello, we call other Aura. All of these different parts of yourself are all going to be in this dream, in the unconscious. So this dream is telling the story of these parts. Um, we're supposed to remain silent. The atmosphere is like World War One, reminiscent of a concentration camp. Again, it's going further into the story and it's telling you where it began. I grew up within an
Mm.
environment where we were supposed to remain silent, and it felt like a concentration camp. So again, it's painting the picture of what the family life was like.
Yeah.
And then the fourth paragraph shows you the actual damage, the trauma taking place. This is
Mm.
how I got hurt. The controller just had to utter a single word and everybody fell over dead. It had
Mm.
this effect of killing me, stone dead. All of my parts fell over at the sound of this parent's voice. It could be
Yeah.
raging father or it could be angry mother. Doesn't
Mm.
matter. It could be both. It's parental. Okay, so then the end, the last paragraph then. I After the fact, everybody is dead. I have been traumatized. I now realize the damage. I know he's dead. I know this hurt me. I'm years later.
Mm.
You see, and the very fact that I'm coming into awareness of this history that has happened in me that I carry with me, that creates compassion. I feel empathy towards myself. Oh my God, such a dreadful wound I've felt. You see, now that is your heart opening towards yourself. You're having a kind thought towards yourself. That's eros.
Yeah.
And eros immediately will bring life to everything that's dead because death is not death as in physical death. Death is the transfer of from one aspect of the mother to another aspect of the mother.
Mm.
So when something dies in a dream, it's just been handed over to the dark mother for safekeeping until it's re-enlivened.
Yeah. Many things make sense now.
Do you see the
Yeah.
positive side
Mm.
in that? Because when you bring it into real time, as it were, the dream is happening within its own level, deep inside you, and it's also happening within your awareness as you live the dream. The dream is happening to you first and foremost. So you're experiencing the dream as it happens. So there's a relationship between you, the dreamer, asleep in bed, aware of your dream, and the dream itself happening deep inside you. There's a relationship between they're two separate things, two different levels. And in a way, the dream is a communication between levels. The dream is moving symbols around in your psyche at the level it's at, but it's also moving energy between you and the level of the dream because you're on the outside. So the path of redemption, the way back in this is for you on the outside to feel compassion towards yourself, for you to have a kind thought about yourself, lighten up on yourself. Don't be crucifying yourself with this internalized brute. Marion Woodman is really good on this stuff, and she says she's just recently I read this quote where it says very important for women to remember when they're faced with this negative self-talk or this internal critic. It's very, very important to remember that you are your authentic feeling. You are not the voice of your mind. So to be able to turn around and say, I hear you, mind, I hear your critic, I hear what you're saying to me, but this is not how I feel about myself. How I feel about myself is primary. It's the truth. Yours is just an opinion. Do you see? And it's bringing life all the time back from the animus, back from the mind, and bringing it back into the heart. Do you see how it works? When the woman identifies herself as her feeling, as her authentic feeling, she's taken her identity back from her mind that would use it as a tool. The animus will use the woman as a tool to get what it wants, and then it'll discard the woman. Now, is it possible to have negative animus and positive animus side by side? Yes, of course it is. Because of this split within the young animus and the pre-existing animus within the family. So even though they are the same animus, one is positively inclined and the other is negatively. One is positively toned and the other is negatively toned. What you inherit from mother could be very negatively toned, and yet your own animus could be very positive. And as long as you protect the young animus, as long as you recognize that little voice inside you that speaks good for you, as long as you take care of it, the old animus can't harm it. Do you know? Because self-awareness, it requires the animus always requires unconsciousness for it to have free reign. It lives within the unconscious. It moves within the unconscious. A fish needs water to swim. So the animus needs unconsciousness to operate. As soon as the woman becomes conscious, then it's a cooperation between animus and her mind and her. Does that make sense? So how we enter into unconsciousness through our complexes. So you have negatively toned animus coming from family dynamic, but you also have, at a personal level, you also have complexes. Of course you do. We all have. Do you see? So the complex, when it's big and powerful, will pull us into unconsciousness. I find myself in a cold room with concrete walls and a concrete floor. I'm in the environment of my parental complexes. Cold room, not much warmth, not much love.
Stuart,
Yeah.
I need to ask something now because I think it's so important what you're saying about the negative and the positive animals. And I think it's so important also to mention the cultural, I don't know how it is in Ireland, but here in Denmark, you know, our culture and our society is built on um,
It's
you
the
know,
same.
sorry. So I think it's so hard to uh, for for women and for girls also today to not to be caught up in that negative animus because the way the school system and our whole society is built is around mind
Yeah, yeah. And fashion.
and fashion. Yeah,
Telling people how they should look.
yeah,
Oh, you're too tall, you're not tall enough, you're too heavy, you're not heavy enough.
yeah,
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 all this sort of that's all orders. They're all controllers.
yeah,
There's
exactly,
the animus, cultural animus.
exactly.
But first and foremost, we have our complexes. We have self-awareness, or like the first choice for any person is, can I remain present? Can I
Mm.
hold the tension of what goes on inside me? Can I remain present? So that's shadow work. can I stay standing up straight? Do you know what I mean? That's the first thing we meet. Then, depending on whether we enter unconsciousness, then we start seeing these deeper dynamics. And the cultural aspect as well, of course, is in there, and religious aspect, and so many other things. And today, today you find yourself in this position. Tomorrow you could be 10 paces backwards in a different position because you got out of bed on the wrong side. So different day, different dynamic.
Mm.
But that's what that dream is about.
Yeah. Stuart, I think we have been a little confused around time because I wrote from 6 till 7, and you have in your calendar your 6 till 9.
I had from 6 to 8 in
8
my diary,
in
but
your
that was Irish. That was Irish time,
diary.
which would be 7 to 9
Yes.
Danish time.
And I think, yeah. So I think it will be okay for it that we just have an hour today because we have one dream. Mary sent me a dream also, but I would like to wait with that till she's here. She wanted to participate also, but she couldn't do it today.
Yeah.
So I think we shall end now, and then we can arrange another hour next week or 14 days or whatever, and bring that dream in.
Yeah, that's fine. Regrets, how do you feel about that?
I also have a dream if you want to continue, but I'm also okay with stopping now.
Well, just hang on before we answer your question, Meta. Regrets, how do you feel about that? Are you clear on that? Do you feel
Yes, yes. And I will just say thank you. I have a lot to think about, but many things make sense for me.
okay?
Yeah, so thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, um, I can go on for another few minutes if Meta, if you want to give me your dream. Hella, do you need to go, or can you stay for a
I
few
don't
minutes?
need to go. I think we just confused ourselves this time
Yeah,
here.
it was just a
So
mix-up, that's all.
yeah, but that's all. So I will allow Julia in here. She's waiting in the waiting room. You know her.
So,
So just there she is.
yeah,
Hi, Julia.
I
Welcome. We started at 6 o'clock today. We made a little mix up with the time, so I hope that's okay. Stuart is going to work with the Midstream now, and yeah, then we will end for tonight, I guess. So, but you're very, very welcome. Nice to see you.
Yeah, you too. Sorry, I didn't get that. What were you gonna do now?
so, we're just starting a new dream with Meta.
Meta.
Oh,
We
got it.
we
Okay,
we
right.
began at different times. Hella and myself, we had our times wrong. I was on Irish time, and
Right.
Hella was on Danish time. So we were an hour apart.
Uh,
But I've only just stepped in not too long ago, so I'm still fresh, not worn out yet. So Meta, can you tell us your dream, or yeah,
Yes. Yes, I have some things, but I'll just tell you and then we'll take it. So I wrote this morning. So this is a very fresh dream. I dream that I'm in a bus or on a bus and I have to get off this bus soon. I have I have a few bags and I have some packages as well. So it's a bit of trouble to get all this off the bus. And as I'm kind of collecting them and moving them, so I have everything under control before I get off the bus, some new people enter the bus. There's a man around my age, he not more than 35 years old. He gets really mad at me. He just entered the bus and he gets really mad at me. And he's yelling and telling me that I'm taking up space. And he's very angry. he also seemed kind of I was thinking when I saw him that he seemed a little bit what I call neurospicy or neurodivergent, at almost having a handicap, but not really, maybe like really autistic. And he's also traveling with a bit of an older woman sitting next to him. And he kind of leaves, and I talk to her, and I kind of see like, oh, I have to, can I just look here because I need to find my stuff? And she's very kind, and she says, are you able to get off the bus with all these things by yourself? And I tell her, nah, it might be difficult. And then she kind of points to this angry man and says maybe he can help. And as I talk to him now, he's very kind and very completely different. And I ask him, are you a pedagogue? And he says, no, but just kind of gives this vibe of he wants to help. So the next thing I remember is that the bus stops, and I get off this bus, and I get my stuff out in this grass. We get out in the grass with these things. And just, I'm kind of trying to be sure to get everything. And this woman here, she's still helping me. And when I'm off the bus, at some point, the bus stops. And no, it starts and it goes. And this man is with me still. And he's a little bit panicked about, oh no, now he's stuck here with me and I'm stuck here with him. And then another man who was also on the bus, was also missed the bus now. He's there with me. So we are two men and me. And this other man, he's kind of flirting with me a little bit, but he's very collected. He's not really, it's not crossing any boundaries. So I try to look at a map on my phone, and I see the Jylland, but the map is mirrored. So the tip and the nose of Jylland is the other way around. Is turning, the nose is pointing. I remember I wrote down the nose is pointing to the left. So it's very confusing. I don't know where we are. They don't know where we are. We try to find these kind of names of the cities on the map. And then a third man come by, and he was also on the bus, and he seems like he knows the area. Maybe he lives there, and we ask him about where to go, and he helps us. And I try to see how do I get home. And all of a sudden, pictures pop up on my phone of a big yellow, orangey, warm house in a warm environment. And it just looks really nice with like nice nature around it. And that's when I wake up.
Okay. So it's a long dream, but it's actually quite straightforward in a way. If you look at the very first opening of the dream, I'm on a bus. If you look at the very, very beginning, I'm on the bus and I don't know whether to get off, or wasn't that how it began? Where you have all your bags and parcels and
I have to get off on the next stop.
You have to get off the next stop. Okay. So I'm on, that's setting the scene. There's what the dream is about. I'm on this journey. I'm on a journey. It's any journey. And this journey is full of stops and starts. And I'm planning to get off. But, I've all this stuff with me. I'm not organized. Now, all of the bags and parcels and boxes and all that, they also, you could say, are represented by all the male characters in the dream. Bits of the animus, bits of your mind scattered here, there. So part of the chaos that the dream is sort of presenting is your own state of mind.
Mm.
How you are driven by your mind. Your mind has control of you, pulling you this way, and then your mind has control, pulls you that way. So this is the animus operating in you, if you like. So the dream then, going back to the bus journey and the getting off the bus, staying on the bus. Will I get off the bus in time with all my bits and pieces? All of that sort of stuff. It's like endings and beginnings.
Mm.
This is what I hear in it, that the dream is showing you the way you begin things and also the way you end things. That maybe you're a bit impulsive in the beginnings and endings, and a bit chaotic in your endings and beginnings, consequently. And the dream is just presenting you with this image of yourself and how you are operated, how you are organized. Now, there's helpful influences. What was a very controlling or negative influence suddenly in the next moment becomes quite positive. The guy is giving you a hand. So there's that in the dream, and also there's the shadow aspects, the women in the dream, the older woman, and you could break it down between the male characters in the dream, which represent animus, and the female characters in the dream, which represent shadow. So this older woman in particular comes into the dream, and she's helping you, but but she also her assistance to you. It's like how the shadow can help you. So you're living a negative aspect of yourself, and a positive aspect is in the shadow, but it's more mature. To gain this positive aspect of your shadow, you need to grow up a bit. I hope you might be saying it that way, but I'm putting it
Mm.
bluntly. Do you know what
Yes.
I mean? You need to be the older woman.
Yeah.
So by getting into the mindset of the older woman, you will release the positive qualities of that older woman from the shadow into yourself. And then the child you will not be as run ragged by the chaos of what you carry inside your own mind. It's internal. Do you know, it's not on the
Mm.
outside, but it's your own operating. But the dream is about your own operating system. It's like in computer. Okay, we have to upgrade the software. Okay, how do I do that? Well, by looking at shadow, seeing the positive qualities in your shadow, looking at endings and beginnings, how you step on your levels of commitment. We could talk then the dream in the third scene in the dream, it starts to go deeper, and it starts to talk about relationships, how you relate with men and how men relate with you, and it starts to open up into that aspect of your life. So the dream is showing you where this where these states of mind can affect you, where you might see them, where you could gain access to them to work on them.
Mm.
Just see, so you could, what I would do with that dream is I would lay it out in a big piece of paper, and I would start to organize it. I would start to try to make sense of the overall chaos of the dream, and I would put all the male bits over here and all the female bits over there, and I'd have the bus as the journey through life. It could be a week long, a day long, or lifetime long. I'd have the getting on, the getting off the bus as endings and beginnings, how I start things, how I end things. Uh, Staying on the bus, your commitment to yourself, or is your mind bossing you? Does your mind boss you around? That's what I think the dream is
Mm.
all about. Now, you could relate it back into your life at this moment, but only you could do that.
Mm.
And you could see, well, okay, why did I have this dream at this moment? Am I looking at ending something, or am I looking at beginning something? Am I trying to climb on the bus, or am I trying to climb off the bus? What's going on inside my mind? And am I sabotaging myself before I begin, or am I sabotaging myself by ending? Do you see this whole, how I approach endings and how I approach beginnings?
Mm. Yeah, I'm not good with ending
Yeah.
things.
Well, then you won't be good with beginnings either.
Mm.
The two go hand in hand. But that's the dream, is just, it's a process dream, which really needs another dream to measure it, and then another dream after that. And it's sort of an inflow. It's like, okay, I could have 10 dreams like that, and they would show direction and movement. But in one dream, you won't see the movement. It's like it's one point on the line. You need another point on the same line to measure the journey aspect in it. But that's what I would do first. I would draw it out, male and female, and everything female is part of your shadow, positive qualities and negative, and the animus attitudes of the male characters being animus, positive and negative.
What about the map that's mirrored?
Reflected. Yeah, that's well, do you see, it's like the dream is a map. That's when when you were describing the dream first couple of paragraphs were straightforward. It got you to standing on the green verge on the grass, back to nature. So nature has something to play in this. And then the dream sort of repeated itself. It went through the dream again, but at a different level. And these different male characters stepped into it. And it was nearly like the same dynamic, but at a deeper level. And I felt there's the map, and then here's the other map. You're seeing it from a different angle, looking in from a different window, through the window of relationship. Do you see? And here's this guy flirting with me, but he doesn't try anything on. He's not. He's okay. Do you know? But maybe you need to look at your own state of mind towards him. Who's preventing that relationship? Is it you or is it him? Do you see? And you could go into all of that, but that's at a deeper level. Are you blocking Eros from your life with your mind? Do you see? And you could investigate there. But that's what I think the reflection of the map is. I think it's showing you two different views of the same thing. And the fact that it's a map, it's showing you guidance.
Mm.
The map is a map of the self. So you're looking in a window in at your own psyche, and the bus journey is whatever you wish it to be. It
In the
could be a
house?
job, it could be a relationship, it could be a career choice, it could be anything.
Yeah,
It's a transitional space, something that contains a journey.
that feels very spot on. But the house and the ending, I'm not sure. Or maybe it's about the solar plexus because
Well,
it's
houses generally
overhead.
represent the self.
Sorry.
Houses, buildings like that would represent the self in some
Mm.
aspect. So, there's a very quick telling of the dream. So, I think there's probably lots in that. If I was to sit down and look at it, I might get more from it. But just from first hearing, that's what I would say. Um, I've said many, many times the work sometimes is about slowing fast people down and speeding slow people up. In relation to this dream, I would get you to slow right down, and I would literally look at it word by word, so that you can break it right down. I would take the power back from the process and try to help you to become aware, give it right back to you so that you can see it for yourself, which is a maturing thing to do. Uh, Whereas somebody else, you could push them through it, but I don't think that'd be right. I think it's important as well, the fact that when you get off the bus, you stand on the grass. So there's some sort of, the grass is very active in holding you. And there's a mention of nature further on in the dream as well. So there's something to do with being held by nature or going into nature and developing a relationship with nature. The bus also is a journey within our complexes because the bus is a mechanical object. It's a machine. So it's something that carries me along. I get on the bus and it carries me, same as a car. So it represents my psyche, but it also represents my complexes. It has an outer appearance, my persona, and it has workings, is working well. Or does it smoke a lot? You know, there's all these questions about the bus. What state is the bus? What time of day is it? All of these other questions. Guys, any questions on how I'm approaching that? It's very quick. Can you see how I'm starting again with the very opening paragraph and looking and saying, okay, the first paragraph nearly always will tell you what it will situate the dream. It'll tell you what the dream is about. Now, it doesn't only tell you that, it's also part of the dream itself. But from a point of view of working with a dream, to get a handle on it quickly. Yep. Okay, yeah.
I was actually thinking because you said that Igisa's dream was because it's basement that it would be the subconscious, and then I was thinking, oh, since mine is a bus, it might be an outward dream or what you call, I don't remember what you called it earlier. So I was surprised how you would get how you tell the difference. Does that make sense?
Well, one is going down into the earth. One is a descent. So when you have a descent, you're going into a regression and you're going down into the unconscious. Now, you could also go into unconscious by going up. It doesn't necessarily have to mean going down. But in that first dream, it was obvious, cold, stony place. Okay, unconscious. Um, the description of you in the bus is a bit chaotic. There's an awful lot going on inside the bus. Like there's this guy firing off, and there's you, and there's other people in the bus, and they're all involved. So that as mind is a busy place. So your mind is a busy place. Do you see?
I can't help thinking here, Stuart, and maybe that is a pure projection. So I'm aware of that. But but when Meta asks for help, this old woman comes in. The first, the male figure, the animus, is aggressive towards Meta, carrying all her stuff herself, and I think it's interesting. It's an interesting place there. If you can get the lady, the old lady in from the beginning, and stop this angry animals towards yourself, and like use it for to ask for help. How would that look? So you're taking control, you're helping your shadow, the old shadow woman, to take control over you, and get this man's help. How would that look, you know when you get off the bus and stuff? I was just thinking about that.
Yeah.
There was so much energy in the beginning, for me, I sensed. You were like, I could almost see you in the bus, with all your bags and luggage, and getting a little, like, now I know you. You can, all this. I remember when, is it okay if I bring something in here? I remember you sitting out here in the garden, Meta, or was it in the garden? Oh, we were putting pillows on you. Wasn't that that was the exercise, and it was just cover you in pillows, in stuff, and you just sat there and let it happen. So I just, my mind just wandered to that space, and I think, if you can get the positive animals out here and say, okay, it's this direction. Get the old woman, the mature woman, the one who's not afraid of asking for help. I don't know. Maybe I didn't listen very well, but it seemed to me like when she came in, this angry man's attitude turned, it shifted.
I think what you're saying, Hella, is absolutely correct. The to enliven the old woman,
Yeah,
you could do it through active imagination, or you could do it through a psychodrama. And by bringing the woman in earlier, she would have an immediate effect on the angry animus.
exactly.
and quietening down. Now, what you're actually doing at a practical level is you're constellating the positive qualities of the mature shadow, the mature feminine.
Yeah.
So that's what you're doing in the active imagination or on the floor through a psychodrama.
Mm.
Do you see? Now, the mature feminine, I'm thinking back to the dream you had about the snakes, Hella.
Yeah.
The friendly animus, or the in your dream, Hella, you had the small snake, which was feminine.
Yeah.
But the small snake, the feminine, had a voice. The small snake, the feminine, had an opinion. It
Yeah.
was bringing advice.
Yes.
And in the same way, this mature woman has a point of view. She has something to say. She has advice to give. She has an instruction. Do you know what I mean? She's not just silent. Okay, she's bringing in a healthy animus. Her voice, her opinion, her point of view, the little snake's point of view, it's not feminine. It's bringing in an aspect, a healthy aspect of masculinity into it. So the presence of this healthy animus in the dream that the woman brings in has an effect on this out of control animus that's controlling the bus. Now, in the dream, you have all your bags and parcels and all these stuff. So equally, you could say, well, this is what you bring to the table. Do you know what I mean? You bring a lot to the table. All these bags and parcels and, all this stuff comes with you, but it's energy. So when all of that is sort of boiled down, when all of it is sort of integrated, there's a lot of energy there to be brought, to be used. Do you know what I mean? So it's not negative, but it is a bit chaotic at the moment in the dream. Now, where all that stuff tends to flare up, where we get to see it most is in the beginnings and endings. We see it in premature beginnings and in premature endings and delayed beginnings, difficult beginnings. People who end too quickly or don't end at all. Then that affects the next beginning. So you see all the stuff coming in there. Hello, does that I didn't mean to cut you off now when I said that, but I just wanted
No,
to say that
I
that
don't feel cut. Actually, I don't feel cut off.
okay, that's good. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
I
That's.
didn't mean to
I
cut you off.
was smiling on the inside. No, I didn't. I felt supported and
Yeah,
good. Yeah. So
I
I
just
just.
felt it was worthwhile mentioning that the healthy feminine is bringing a healthy animus with it.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Absolutely.
that's in the opinion it gives and in the insight it shares.
Mm.
So it's not the feminine that has the voice, it's the healthy animus
In the feminine.
belongs to that feminine that has the voice.
Yeah. Mhm.
This whole animus stuff, it's complicated. Do you know what I mean? It is complicated, but it's not gender. It's not a man. It's better to think of the animus as mind, I think. Now, you could equally call it your spirit, and that's not far wrong either. It's a quality of air. It links with the breath. It very much to do with voice. So yeah, and it's so important to realize that the way of approaching animus work is through the shadow. So self-awareness, developing self-awareness is the way you work with your animus. You can't work with the animus if you're not self-aware. Not possible. It'll work with you.
It will possess you.
Exactly.
Mm.
So, guys, any questions on that one? I know it was very quick.
Nope,
Never any questions.
no questions.
Okay, well, I didn't want to leave Meta you feeling that, oh no, there's no space for your dream. So I thought better to give it a hearing then.
Mm.
So anyone else, are we done, Hella, or is that anyone else going to do a dream? Or Yulia, you came in late. Do you have any dreams to throw on the counter?
Yeah, if we have time, I do.
We'll make time, Julia. We make time.
Make time. Just told me to make time.
Mm.
That was Hella's animus.
Um,
Ah.
You can make time.
Go away.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Hmm.
what dream have you got?
yeah, I had one where I was at an introduction meeting at this course where they were teaching like a healing technique. And actually, the night before, I stayed over at HelleSofia's house and slept there, like in the same bedroom, but our beds were in opposite sides of the room. And I woke up several times during the night and pretended like I was talking in my sleep, but I wasn't. I was just speaking. And
Is
then
this the
I
dream or
heard,
this real?
sorry?
Is this the dream or is this real?
No, no, this is also the dream.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, none of it is real. And then at this introduction meeting, we break up into small groups so we can ask questions. And I'm with this young guy who's a student there, and I'm asking him questions, but he's being very vague. He doesn't really answer them. And then he's showing us pictures of other locations that this school has. Like there's one in Greece, and there is one in Malaga, Spain. Um, so the house is, I think, at the end of the city. It's like the last house before the city ends and the greenery starts. And it's white like the other houses in that area. But then this guy says, "Look at the roof." And the roof is made of some kind of wire crossing, so it's basically open. Um, and then it's like 6 months later, and I'm back at the school, and I'm gonna start doing the course. Um, and I see a young woman with red hair that I apparently also noticed the first time I was there. But now she looks way better. Her skin has changed. She's telling me that she stopped smoking. And I ask her very direct questions. Okay, like, well, what did you do? Because she says, yeah, I did some really intense healing work. And I'm trying to be like, okay, but what did you actually do? And she doesn't really give me any answers. And that's it.
What do you think it's saying yourself? What do you think?
Um, I don't know. I think there's definitely some impatience in it because I want to know exactly like what's going to happen. What is this? I want answers, and I can't really. It's vague, and that brings up anger in me because
So
those
the guy in the dream is being vague with you.
yeah
Yeah, yeah. And you're there and you're saying, I want to know like these things. Yeah.
yeah
Okay. In the very beginning, when you were describing, I asked you, is that the dream or is that real? When you were saying about being in the room and sleeping and one bed over there, one bed over here, and then you woke up or you were speaking out.
mm,
Did that actually happen or is that was in the dream?
that's in the dream.
Okay. So have you any sense of what you were speaking out?
No, but I have the sense that I did it to get her attention.
Hell is attention.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, I think maybe that would be like, oh, this is an interesting thing. I'm saying something in my sleep. I think that was it.
I think there's okay for Hell, is it okay if I run with this first and just see?
You go with this, no problem.
Okay, okay. I think it's interesting the way the dream began because it seems to have begun out of a very ordinary sort of thing, like you staying over and just sleeping and, having a chat in your sleep. And it's showing a closeness between yourself and Hella. You have a parallel process within this. So that's not a bad thing. It means that there's you have a colleague type of thing that you can refer to within this. So it's showing a trust for Hella and whatever you might bring to the table, it's useful. So Hella in you to find your own Hella on the inside.
Mm.
You see, not just Hella on the outside, but Hella on the inside. Your own Hella on the inside. I think that's the first thing that's interesting in the dream. Now, in terms of it setting the scene, maybe that's what this dream is about. The healing is for you to find whatever qualities you project onto Hella on the outside.
Mm.
So to look at those projections on Hella and then to see those qualities within yourself and to be able to own them, that would be a big healing where you wouldn't be projecting anymore. Because say, for example, and I don't know the relationship that you have with Hella, but on the outside, but say, for example, there's a positive mother projection there. Well, what you're projecting out is your own eros
Mm.
onto mother, and then mother loves you back. Mother is responsible for how she handles your eros, your love that you've given to her. Do you see? So giving your power away in order that it can be given back to the feminine. So it's an interesting process, just slipping in the very beginning of the dream. And then there's the whole thing about this program, the course, and it's a healing course. And you have this guy, Animus, that you're asking about, and what is this? And he draws your attention to the roof. And the roof is made of wire. It's strange.
Mm.
It's unusual. That's not the way roofs normally are, and you can see through it. So the upper boundary, it's like there's some type of lack of boundary,
Yeah.
the upside of the building. So what does that mean in terms of, shadow and all of this sort of stuff? Is it referring to a possible inflation that could happen? We expand upwards, not outwards. We expand up into mind, or we go through the roof. What does that mean? I don't know what it means, but it's in your dream as a symbol. So the healing involves looking at this, the healing aspect of the dream, and owning whatever projections you put out there of your own personal qualities involves looking at this, problem with the roof
Mm.
and how that operates within your own sort of psyche. And you want him to give you detailed information. And yet that is in a way that in the world of parental projections, when we're looking for detailed information from someone else, who am I and who is the someone else within the world of parental projections? So if I was to be fully adult in myself, I wouldn't be waiting for him to tell me. I'd be asking the question. Do you see, I'd be coming straight out and asking the question. Um, that would be clarifying the confusion within the dream. Now, I think it would be interesting to rework that dream, uh, and go back into it and um, work it through a few times by working on this bit and working on that bit and bringing them together and you know literally change the dream as you work on it. That's the how did it end? How was the very end of the dream?
I have a conversation with this woman who looks better now than she did 6 months
Oh,
ago.
she's good skin and she's
Yeah, and she's also being vague with me.
yeah,
It's the
yeah.
same thing. Yeah.
Who is she or what does she where how did she come into the dream? Can you remember?
I don't know because when I meet her the second time, I recognize her from the first time I was there, but I don't think
Well,
you know.
well, at the very least, she's representing a positive aspect of your own shadow called healthiness. She's a very healthy appearance. You know, her skin is good and, you know, she's looking well and looking healthy. So that has a shadow bit for you. It shows that the positive is in the shadow. So that standing opposite a more negatively inclined view of self, which is one maybe that you carry in the conscious attitude, how you might be a critique of yourself rather than a supporter of yourself. See, the whole thing needs to be taken in the context of how the dream began, because it's really unusual beginning.
Hmm.
It's a strange sort of out of naturalness, you know, where it's the sort of thing you could literally have a chat across the beds like
Hmm.
could have been real, and then suddenly you're in Greece and you're okay, we're in the dream. Um, but I think when you look at the shadow aspects and the animus aspects, look at the qualities. Pay attention to the qualities of both. The animus has been a bit vague. It's been a bit elusive. Do you know, it's not being fully upfront. Something hidden. He's being vague.
Hmm.
Okay, so in terms of how you deal with yourself, do you need to pull, this thing about Marion Woodman saying, what is my true feeling on this matter? Not what does my mind tell me, but what's my actual feeling tell me about this matter? And finding clarity in your own feeling through your own authentic feeling, deep feeling. And regardless then of what your mind says, you know the truth. The truth is what you feel it to be. So I think that's where the healed woman at the end comes in. I think she has something else to add. It's nearly like, okay, she steps in where the dream ends, but she could also be stepping in the beginning of the next dream. So if you were to begin a dream with her, if you began an active imagination with her, what direction would it go? That's what I get from it. Hello, do you get anything else, or
Yeah,
what
I
would
was
you
I was
say?
just thinking while you were saying this, it could be interesting to bring the healed woman from the end. I noticed she was red haired. I noticed the color red or orange or like, you
That's right,
know.
yeah.
So how to bring her into the beginning, into the bed, into Julia in the bed in the beginning. How would that look? Or into the other bed where I was. Or just into the room or somehow to bring the end into the beginning.
Conversation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. How and just press play and see where does that go?
And your own associations with red-haired women. Do you know what I mean? What do you think of red-haired women?
I don't know that I think anything really. I think she stands out in the dream because she has that about her. Like she's got very red hair. So I'm like I notice her. Um
What is red? What is red
well
Is it something to do with her heightened instincts, her naturalness? Is it something to do with her thoughts, what comes out of her head? Why, red hair? What does that mean in a dream sense? What does it mean for you?
Hmm. Well, I'm thinking about anger. That's what comes up
Yeah,
because
okay.
that is also what is happening when she's being vague with me. I get super angry. There's like, flames.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And you seem surprised when you were telling the dream. You seemed surprised at how healthy she looked.
Yeah.
So how could somebody look so healthy and be so angry? You talking about yourself?
Mm. Hmm.
Maybe it's the anger that makes her healthy.
Yeah. Now, there's the thing.
Hmm.
But the dream can be worked out through dialogue, because dialogue is at the very beginning of it, the importance of dialogue. So it seems to me you could set up a room and place all the characters. You could externalize the dream, talk to the wall, talk to the window as parts of the dream. Talk to the chair, become the chair and answer back. You could gestalt the dream in that way, or you could do it silently, just go in and relive it inside your own mind, active imagination, explore through that, or you could paint it. Bring the characters more to life. And also the environment that the dream is happening in. Greece. What do you think of Greece?
I don't think it was in Greece. It was in one of the pictures that they have a location there. Uh, but there is something about the environment in Spain because it's very clear where this house is and how it is placed in the city, but also in nature, kind of both. You can walk out on one door, you're in the city, and on the other side of the house, it's nature.
Yeah.
And it's white.
And also the white buildings.
Yeah.
What does that signify? Is that perfectionism? Or is it just white?
Mm.
Animus can be white can be a color for the animus. White can represent spirit in dreams, spiritual aspect. Too much white. You've all those sort of things you could bring in to it when you're looking at it. There's guys, this is for everyone, not just for Julia. It's worthwhile remembering that while we're doing this journey, we're beginning from a beginning place. And that beginning place always is going to project positive onto some aspects and negative onto others. Now, drawing a line down the center, everything white is good and everything dark is bad. Do you know what I mean? That's the beginning place. We make everything dark bad and everything bright good. And yet, when we go through the journey, we begin to realize, well, there is no good and there is no bad. That's a trick my mind plays on me. And wholeness is bad and good, black and white. So I don't need to worry too much about my dark side when it's integrated, because I know when I'm being dark and I know when I'm being bright. Do you see? So in the dreams where you have a lot of black and white, or where a dream could be showing you a spiritualized aspect of yourself as healed or a healed portion, or somebody on a program or a course, or a white building, or a person who lives in a white building, or a place like that, an ideal tropical island or somewhere like that. What you're looking at is one opposite without seeing the other opposite. Okay, the dream is showing one aspect. Where's the other aspect? Because there has to be opposites. They work in pairs. So just as a general sort of remember, ask yourself, where's your shadow? So that's I don't know anything else, Julia, on that, or Hella, can you say anything else, or anyone else want to jump in?
I don't have anything more to say. No. Anybody else?
I think it'd be very interesting to ask the roof why it is made of wire. Who constructed you? When were you built? For what purpose were you built? Ask the roof directly and see if it'll answer you.
Mm.
You see, because it's a strange thing in a dream. It's unusual. It's very deliberate. You could be surprised at the answer it gives. Is that okay, Julie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any more dreams, Hella, to push through, or
No, I have Mary's here, but that's a long, heavy one, so we'll wait with that.
hold on?
Definitely. So I think it's time to wrap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
I thank you for joining, and